Thank you, dear student speakers, and I would like to, in a very special way, underline your thanks and highlight your gratitude to the one person that is here today, without whom the ITI would not exist today, and that is His Eminence Cardinal Schönborn. If it were not for 17 years now, I have had the great privilege to work with the Cardinal. And we have had highs and lows in the existence of the ITI. We are now in its 25th anniversary year that we will be celebrating on the 1st of October. And if it were not for His Eminence's patience, love, generosity, and pretty strong nerves throughout those years, we would not be sitting here today and enjoying this beautiful place, celebrating the largest graduating class ever. So once again, may I ask you a very warm applause for His Eminence. His Eminence asked me, before I give my commencement address, to read to you once again a very special letter that we received some weeks ago at the occasion of the passing of our beloved Dani. And I already read it to those of you who were at the funeral, but we thought it appropriate to read it to you again, because this is the honor of a lifetime for the ITI to receive such a letter. At the occasion of the passing of Professor Kierkegaard, I had written to Monsignor Genswein to inform him of Dani's death, because she had worked for many years with Josef Ratzinger and had also been consecrated by him. And to my great surprise and my great joy, on the day of her funeral, the following letter arrived from Rome, personally signed and addressed to me by Pope Benedict XVI, the Papa Emeritus. And I would like to share that with you because it is such a recognition, first of all, for Dani, but also for what the ITI stands for in those 25 years. And it's actually a great honor for me to read this letter in the presence of His Eminence, who himself, of course, has been so close to Pope Benedict. Sehr geehrter Herr Rector, für die Nachricht vom Heimgang von Frau Professor Dr. Dani Kierkegaard danke ich Ihnen bestens und spreche zugleich Ihnen wie Ihre Hochschule meine Anteilnahme aus. Dass Frau Kierkegaard noch 10 Tage vor ihrem Tod Vorlesungen hielt, zeigt ihre Begeisterung für die theologische Arbeit, ebenso wie ihren Willen, der Kirche Gottes in schwieriger Zeit zu dienen. Sie war eine entscheidende Thomistin, die den heiligen Thomas genau und ohne Rücksicht auf jeweilige Modeströmungen gelesen und so der Wahrheit gedient hat, die in Christus als Person auf uns zugeht. Gern schließe ich die Heimgegangene in mein Gebet ein. Zugleich übersende ich Ihnen meine beste Segenswünsche für Ihre wichtige Arbeit, Ihr Benedikt XVI. We will frame this letter. It will have a very special place at the ITI. So, dear graduates, Before I begin, I would like to say that you shouldn't worry too much about my commencement address, it being too serious, because last year I received a fatherly, correction is probably not the best word to say, but a fatherly suggestion from somebody who's present here that we have to be careful that the commencement address is not too serious. So I have taken that suggestion very serious. I hope, however, that some seriousness will still remain. So I will start right away with some heavy material, but you will understand where it goes. I would like to start with you today with a quote from one of the greatest political scientists of the 20th century, Hannah Arendt, who wrote the great book, The Origins of Totalitarianism. And as I've been teaching a course this year on the origins of totalitarianism and its revival today, I have been once again digging into this great work of political thought by Hannah Arendt. And this is what she says. The more highly developed a civilization, the more accomplished the world it has produced, the more at home men feel within the human artifice, the more they will resent everything they have not produced, everything that is merely and mysteriously giving them. This, dear graduates, is the world into which you are being sent, and that is the vineyard in which you are called to work. A world that generally rejects everything that it has not created itself. Now, although I am sure that you all being good Catholics, you will find and enjoy good wine in some real vineyards along your way and hopefully drink it, with measure of course, we are here, of course, speaking about the biblical meaning of vineyards. And so, how should you go about being fruitful in this civilization of ours that tends to reject or deny that which it has not produced itself? Here, I would like to follow the case that our Dean, Dr. Dolna, and I made in the latest episode of our Education at the Crossroads series that is entitled Beauty, Truth, and Heroism. And I will make some advertisement for our YouTube channel here. Please visit it and watch it. You, dear graduates, have the task to show wherever you go and in whatever field you work that the whole of the order of creation, starting from the fact that each one of us has been created from the moment of conception as a man or a woman, actually that this order of creation makes sense because of its beauty. Now, I am sure that the new couples that have fallen in love amongst the students this academic year, which I have been observing, can attest to that there is this beauty in the fact that we have been created as man and as woman. Beauty, as our dean said it so well, is a sign of the transcendent, of that which is beyond our merely human schemes. And let's be honest, don't we also all see this transcendent look in the eyes of those student couples? Don't they also have that transcendent look? You, dear graduates, have the task, with the help of that understanding of beauty, not only in the eyes of the one you have fallen in love with, but beyond that, to invite and motivate all whom you have encountered or you still will encounter in your private or professional lives, to join you on the lifelong journey, and a deeply rewarding journey that is, to find the truth of what it means to be human. And what a great task this is in a society that utterly rejects the idea that there is such a thing as truth. Unless, of course, you step in line with the current mainstream orthodoxy. Your countercultural efforts will bring a lot of good to society. And actually, in the process, you will be saving souls. Which brings us to the third element. You, dear graduates, have the task to live a heroism that shows fortitude, perseverance, and great charity. You will need a good doses of heroism to convince our highly developed world, our highly developed civilization that loves to play God, that in fact the real God is to be found elsewhere and can be searched through beauty and an openness to seeking truth. Now, in living this heroism, you can and you should leave your comfort zones and offer a joyful and inspiring alternative to what we find so prevalent in our current culture. You are called to be that alternative. As one famous and highly successful executive leadership coach to business and political leaders observes it thus: we have encouraged a culture of soft, weak, and delicate people who can't keep promises, who bail on commitments, and who quit on their aspirations the moment the smallest obstacle shows up. You, dear graduates, are not to be like that. Rather, I want to share with you the story, and this is a real story, of my good friend Esteban Bullrich. He is a husband, a father of 5 children like myself, and he is also a current senator in the parliament of the great nation of Argentina. In the past, he also served as Minister of Education. Recently, Esteban was diagnosed with the rare disease ALS, which stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that heavily impacts the functioning of the muscles. It ultimately leads to loss of muscle control. A few days ago, my friend Esteban had the great courage to go on CNN, the Argentinian version of it. And his speaking is already much affected by this terribly difficult disease. And he went on national television to give his testimony. And he wrote me afterwards that he believes that God never puts us in situations we cannot handle. During the interview, in front of the whole of Argentina, he gives powerful witness to what it means to be a Christian in this world. And this he's already doing with great difficulty speaking. This is what he says: this illness does not define me. What defines me is how I face it. Think about that. It is what our world needs to hear and needs to see. today in you and what you need to live in a world that is trying to identify people so much by all sorts of things that should not define them. As Esteban says it, this illness, and you can put for the word illness anything else, does not define me. What defines me is how I face it. And then he goes on later in the interview. He says, to be alive is a gift from God. To wake up every day with the opportunity to change what happened the day before is a gift. The past does not condemn you. What matters is what you do today. What matters is what you do with what you got, to keep looking forward. So, dear graduates, my suggestion for you as you graduate and go out into the world, follow this example and get to work in that vineyard of the world. Thank you.